The sky above Earth had never looked so strange. A shimmering fleet of ships, silent and massive, hovered just above the atmosphere, reflecting the sunlight in colors that humans had no names for. From the control room of the International Space Command, the officers watched with a mixture of awe and fear. These were not ordinary visitors. They were Xipharians, a warrior race whose legends had traveled across the stars. Tales told that they were nearly unbeatable in battle, and now they were here not to negotiate but to challenge humanity itself. Lieutenant Mara Singh, one of Earth's youngest space strategists, clenched her hands around the console. "They're waiting," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her eyes scanned the holographic display showing the alien ships forming a perfect crescent around the planet. "They want a fight, not diplomacy, a challenge." Admiral Chen, a veteran of decades in interstellar defense, leaned over the display, his face grave. "They always want a challenge," he said. "Xipharians live for combat. This isn't a war yet, they're offering a test, but they've fought worlds before. And humans, we've never fought them." For a moment the room was silent, filled only with the low hum of machines and the soft crackle of the holographic displays. Then from the main screen a figure appeared, a Xipharian warrior. She was tall, far taller than any human, with armor that gleamed like liquid metal and eyes that glowed with a faint blue light. Every movement she made spoke of power, precision, and confidence. The translator worked instantly, but the voice was smooth, strong, and commanding. "People of Earth," she said, her words measured and clear, "we have observed your planet for cycles. Your strength is curious, your ingenuity noted. We offer a challenge, a single test of skill and courage. No weapons beyond what you carry, no allies beyond your own people. You may accept or you may yield. Decide quickly. We do not wait forever." Mara felt a chill run down her spine. Even through the translator, the confidence of the Xipharian warrior was impossible to ignore. Every officer in the room could feel it. They were being underestimated, but they were also being tested. Humanity had never faced a challenge like this. Admiral Chen straightened. "We accept," he said firmly. The room seemed to hold its breath. "We will show them what humans can do." The news spread quickly across Earth. Across every city, people stared at the sky, watched the alien ships, and wondered, could humans survive a test from a species that was practically built for war? Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, analyzing every piece of data they had about the Xipharians. Soldiers trained day and night, not with the hope of overpowering the aliens. They could not. But with the hope of using their minds, their creativity, and their unpredictable humanity to survive. By the time the day of the challenge arrived, humans were ready, but not in the way anyone might have expected. The battlefield was a massive, artificial platform suspended in orbit, designed to be neutral. The surface could change its terrain, rock formations, water channels, even artificial storms, and both sides were allowed to use it. The humans had studied the platform meticulously. Every edge, every crevice, every potential trap became a tool in their arsenal. Lieutenant Mara Singh stepped onto the platform, her boots touching the metallic surface with a firm sound. She looked around at the other humans, soldiers, scientists, and engineers, all ready to face the aliens. There was fear in their eyes, yes, but there was also determination. Humanity might not be the strongest, but they were clever. They were adaptable. They had something the Xipharians did not fully understand, the human spirit. Across the field, the Xipharian warriors appeared. They were tall, agile, and radiated confidence. Their armor reflected the light, making them look almost like living statues. Each one moved with perfect coordination, their every step calculated, their every gesture precise. They had fought and won against countless opponents, and they expected this to be no different. The signal was given, and the challenge began. The Xipharians advanced with speed that left some humans staggering. Their attacks were precise and powerful, but they were predictable. Mara had expected this. She had studied their movements, their timing, their patterns, and while humans could not match their strength, they could match their strategy. Using the platform to their advantage, humans split into smaller groups. Engineers activated energy barriers to redirect the aliens' attacks. Soldiers used grappling hooks and climbing tools to change elevation constantly. Even small drones deployed by the human engineers acted as distractions, forcing the Xipharians to hesitate, even for a moment. Every hesitation mattered. Every mistake was an opportunity. Humans moved in ways the aliens could not anticipate. They used their environment cleverly. A sudden flood of water, a false rock wall, an energy field that shifted mid-combat. The Xipharians were strong, but their strength alone could not account for the unpredictable nature of humans. Mara watched as one of her friends, a young soldier named Jiro, barely dodged a Xipharian strike and retaliated with a device that released a burst of light and smoke. The alien staggered slightly, and for a moment humanity had the upper hand. Mara felt a thrill run through her, a mix of fear and excitement. This was not victory yet, but it was proof that humans could fight, not with raw power but with cleverness and heart. As the battle continued, the Xipharians adapted quickly. They were not used to opponents who could think so differently. Their attacks became less predictable, but so did the human strategies. Each side learned from the other, testing limits and pushing boundaries. And in that moment, something remarkable happened. The Xipharians began to respect the humans. They had expected to crush them easily, yet here they were, agile, inventive, and resilient. Hours passed, and the human team faced exhaustion. Sweat dripped from brows, muscles ached, but the fire in their eyes never dimmed. Mara could see it in her friends' faces. Fear was there, yes, but so was courage. Humans were not soldiers, not just engineers. They were a single organism united by determination. A Xipharian leader approached Mara directly. She moved like water, her armor gleaming, her expression calm but intense. "You are different from what we expected," she said. "You fight not with strength but with thought. You survive because you think, not because you overpower." "Fascinating, we did not anticipate this." Mara nodded, catching her breath. "We may not be the strongest," she said, "but humans survive. That's what we do." The Xipharian leader paused, and for a moment the two stared at each other across the battlefield. Then she smiled faintly. "Perhaps we underestimated you, but this is only the beginning." With that, the aliens withdrew to the edge of the platform, signaling a temporary pause. Humans cheered quietly, but there was no false triumph. Both sides understood that the challenge had only just begun. The Xipharians were still superior in physical strength, but humans had demonstrated something equally powerful: resilience, intelligence, and the ability to surprise. As the humans regrouped, strategists like Mara knew that the coming hours would require even more ingenuity. They would need to push harder, think faster, and work together seamlessly. And deep down, each one of them felt a new sense of pride. For the first time, they realized that being human was not a weakness. It was a strength, one that could surprise even the most formidable warriors in the galaxy. That night, when the humans returned to their orbiting stations, they looked up at the alien ships. The Xipharians were watching too, silent and calculating. Neither side had yet won, but something important had been achieved. Humans had shown that they were not prey. They were contenders. And in the vast, cold expanse of space, that spark of human ingenuity could light the way to victory in ways no one could yet imagine. The first part of the challenge had ended, but the story of human resilience was just beginning. Tomorrow they would face new trials, new strategies, and new surprises. And humanity, ever unpredictable, was ready. The first battle had ended, but no one on Earth or in orbit felt victorious. Humanity had survived, yes, but the Xipharians were still out there, powerful and calculating. The pause was not a surrender. It was a moment of observation. Mara Singh stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, staring at the alien fleet. The stars glinted off their armor, making them seem even more imposing. Every human present felt the same mixture of awe and tension. The challenge was far from over. Admiral Chen walked up behind Mara. "They are analyzing us," he said. "Every move, every tactic. They want to know if our first success was luck or something more." His voice was calm, but Mara could sense the weight behind it. They could not afford luck. They needed strategy, precision, and unity. Engineers and tacticians had spent the night reviewing the battle footage. Every human movement, every tool used, every diversion was logged and studied. "We need to evolve faster than they can adapt," said Dr. Alina Morales, the lead strategist. "If we do the same things twice, we will fail. They are learning from us, but so are we learning from them." Mara nodded, realizing the truth in Dr. Morales' words. Humans had one advantage the Xipharians did not fully understand: creativity born of necessity. Strength alone might win battles, but thought, improvisation, and courage could win wars. The second encounter was announced the following morning. The Xipharians did not send a single warrior this time. They sent multiple squads. Each one was taller, faster, and more armored than the last. They arrived with weapons, but unlike traditional guns or missiles, their devices seemed to bend energy itself. Fields of pressure, blinding light, and strange gravitational shifts challenged humans in ways they had never imagined. On the battlefield, Mara could see fear flicker in the eyes of even the bravest soldiers, but she also saw determination. Humans had survived the first test. Now they had to prove that survival was only the beginning. Dr. Morales called the human leaders together. "We can't match them physically," she said. "So we need to fight like humans, think like humans, and use the battlefield itself. Gravity, energy fields, even their own momentum can become tools if we are smart." The plan was simple but risky. Instead of charging forward, humans spread across the battlefield, using every natural and artificial element as a trap. They created zones of confusion, forcing the Xipharians to split their attention. Humans moved unpredictably, zigzagging, hiding, and striking from angles no alien could anticipate. The first clash was fierce. A Xipharian squad approached a narrow bridge over a simulated chasm. Humans had set energy emitters to distort gravity in that zone. As the aliens stepped forward, their armor felt heavier, their movements slower. Mara watched in fascination as one Xipharian warrior struggled to maintain balance, and a human team dashed past, dropping a series of light traps that caused momentary blindness. It was not a victory yet, but it was proof that the humans' tactics could disrupt the aliens' confidence, and confidence mattered to the Xipharians more than anything. Meanwhile, Mara and her team were testing new tools. Small drones that could fly at incredible speeds distracted alien sensors. Holographic decoys created multiple human figures where only a few existed. Portable energy barriers bent incoming attacks harmlessly aside. Every new idea was tried immediately, and the humans adapted quickly if it failed. Unlike the Xipharians, who relied on repetition and training, humans thrived on improvisation. Hours passed, and the Xipharians grew frustrated. They were powerful, skilled, and experienced, yet the humans continued to evade and counter their attacks. Mara noticed something remarkable. The aliens were beginning to respect their adversaries. In combat, respect often comes first when one realizes that the opponent is not weak, that defeat is not inevitable, and humans were not weak. A critical moment came when a Xipharian leader, taller and stronger than most, pursued Mara across a ridge. She moved with lethal speed, striking with energy blades that could cut through the strongest metals. Mara barely dodged, rolling down the slope and landing behind a cluster of artificial rock formations. She activated a device that sent out a blinding pulse of light and sound. The alien staggered, giving Mara a chance to escape. She paused, breathing hard, realizing that humans had survived not because of armor or weaponry, but because of ingenuity, timing, and courage. Each human had strengths the aliens could not calculate: unpredictability, emotion, and the ability to change tactics in real time. The battle escalated further when the Xipharians tried to use coordinated attacks to trap the humans. But humans, working together in small units, communicated silently with gestures, lights, and signals. They split the alien forces, leading them into zones carefully prepared with traps. One squad of Xipharians fell into a low-gravity field that caused disorientation. Another was slowed by energy barriers that forced them to stumble into human-controlled zones. During a brief pause in the fighting, the Xipharian leader approached Mara again. This time, she was alone, her armor scorched and dented from the humans' clever tactics. "You are remarkable," she said, her voice calm but tinged with surprise. "Humans do not fight as we expected. You survive, you adapt, and you think. Your mind is different, fascinating." Mara straightened, keeping her voice steady. "We survive because we must. And we fight because we believe in ourselves. We do not fight like you, but that does not make us weak." The Xipharian tilted her head, studying Mara closely. "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps survival is more than strength, but we will not yield so easily. The final trial will determine the victor." Mara nodded. She could see the determination in the eyes of her team. Fear was there, but it was tempered with courage. Humans were not just surviving. They were learning, evolving, and proving that intelligence, creativity, and cooperation could challenge even the strongest warriors in the galaxy. As the second part of the battle drew to a close, the Xipharians withdrew, leaving the humans standing. There were no cheers this time, only quiet relief. Both sides understood that this was a pause, not an end. Humans had demonstrated skill and resilience, but the Xipharians had also shown their strength and adaptability. Each had learned from the other. Back on the human command station, Mara and her team reviewed the battle. Every tactic, every device, every successful evasion was noted. They were no longer just reacting, they were planning ahead. The humans realized that the final trial would require more than strategy. It would require complete unity, flawless execution, and an unbreakable will. "Doctor." Morales addressed the team. "The Xipharians respect skill and courage. They respect those who can survive and adapt. Tomorrow, we will show them something they cannot anticipate. Not just survival, but the strength of being human." Mara looked at the team, feeling pride and hope. Soldiers, engineers, scientists, they were all different, yet together they were strong. Humans had faced the first waves of alien power with courage, and they had outsmarted and surprised the Xipharians. It was proof that humans could endure, innovate, and fight against all odds. That night Mara looked out at the stars. The Xipharian fleet floated silently, waiting for the final confrontation. But for the first time, she did not feel fear. Humans had shown they were more than prey, they were contenders. And tomorrow, when the final trial began, they would prove that even the most formidable warriors could be challenged by the ingenuity, courage, and spirit of humanity. The stars shone brightly, and Mara whispered to herself, "We are ready. We are human. And we will not be underestimated." The sun rose over the orbiting battlefield, casting pale light across the metallic platform. Today was the final trial, the decisive confrontation that would prove who would leave this challenge victorious. Humans had survived the first two encounters, but the Xipharians had also adapted, stronger and smarter than ever. Both sides knew that mistakes could cost dearly, but humans carried something the aliens had yet to fully understand: ingenuity, unpredictability, and unity. Mara Singh adjusted her suit, checking the small devices strapped to her belt. The team had spent hours preparing, testing, and refining their strategies. Engineers had placed drones at precise coordinates. Energy barriers were calibrated for maximum efficiency, and holographic decoys were programmed to appear at multiple locations at once. Every detail had been thought through, every contingency considered. Admiral Chen approached Mara. "This is it," he said. "Everything we've learned, every lesson from the first two battles comes down to today. Remember, it's not about matching their strength, it's about using our strengths in ways they cannot predict." Mara nodded, her heart pounding. She looked at her team, soldiers, engineers, and scientists, all ready and alert. Each one had survived and learned. Each one had adapted. Together, they were more than individuals. They were a single unit, coordinated and unstoppable in their unpredictability. The Xipharians arrived in waves, their armor gleaming under the alien sun. The leader of the previous encounters moved at the front, her presence commanding. She scanned the human forces with the calm confidence of a seasoned warrior. "Humans," she said through the translator, her voice both calm and sharp, "you have surprised us twice, but we are not so easily fooled. Today we test your limits. Fight with all you have. Let us see if your ingenuity can match our strength." Mara felt a thrill of excitement mixed with tension. This was what they had trained for, what they had prepared for, and what they had dreamed of. Humans did not have the raw physical power of the Xipharians, but they had creativity, courage, and determination, qualities that had no limit and no measure. The battle began. The Xipharians charged with a speed and precision that left many humans scrambling. Energy blades cut the air, and the field's gravity shifted as alien devices activated. But humans moved with purpose. Each step had been calculated, each device placed for maximum effect. Drones flew ahead, creating illusions of human movements. Holograms mirrored real humans, confusing alien sensors and drawing attacks away from the real fighters. In one section of the battlefield, a Xipharian squad attempted to corner a group of engineers. The humans triggered energy traps, bending gravity in unexpected directions. One warrior stumbled, another miscalculated a leap, and the humans seized the advantage, guiding them toward zones where additional traps awaited. The aliens, strong and fast, could not anticipate the complexity of human tactics. Every step the humans took seemed unpredictable, yet perfectly coordinated. Mara moved quickly, activating a device that released a blinding pulse of light. A Xipharian charged directly at her, energy blade raised, but the light disrupted her senses for just enough time. Mara ducked, rolled, and triggered a hidden platform beneath the alien warrior, sending her sliding across a shallow chasm. Humans moved as one, capitalizing on the momentary disruption to gain ground. The Xipharian leader noticed Mara's actions and adjusted immediately. She was formidable, responding faster than the humans expected, but Mara had anticipated this. The humans had spent nights simulating every possible response. Today, they were ready. Mara led a coordinated assault that combined traps, decoys, and precise movements to channel the leader into a controlled area where multiple energy fields converged. The alien struggled, her speed and strength hindered by human ingenuity. Other human teams were achieving similar successes. Soldiers used grappling hooks and jet-assisted movements to stay mobile, constantly changing elevation. Engineers manipulated the terrain in real time, forcing the aliens to adapt repeatedly. Every attack the Xipharians made was met with a counter. Every assumption they held was challenged. It was not brute force that carried the humans, but strategy, coordination, and the willingness to innovate under pressure. At one point, Mara saw a small human unit trapped near the edge of a shifting platform. The Xipharians closed in, confident in their victory. Mara ran, signaling the unit to move in a synchronized pattern. A series of holographic duplicates appeared, confusing the aliens. Drones swooped down, creating diversions, while hidden platforms shifted under the Xipharians' feet. Within moments, the humans turned a dangerous trap into an opportunity, forcing the alien squad to retreat in confusion. The battlefield became a testament to human creativity. Every obstacle, every challenge, every zone was exploited by humans in ways the Xipharians could not predict. The aliens were strong, skilled, and disciplined, yet the humans' ability to improvise and adapt continuously turned the tide. For the first time, the Xipharians faced an opponent whose strength was not physical, but cerebral, emotional, and collective. Mara focused on the central area of the battlefield, where the leader of the Xipharians was struggling to regain control. Humans had coordinated to converge on that zone, using energy fields, drones, and clever positioning. Each action was precise and purposeful, forcing the leader to defend, retreat, and reevaluate constantly. The alien realized that strength alone would not win this confrontation. Humanity's resilience and adaptability were formidable. The turning point came when Mara and her closest team members executed the final part of their plan. They activated a synchronized system of energy pulses, gravity shifts, and holographic decoys across the entire battlefield. The Xipharians found themselves disoriented, misjudging distances and movements. Humans moved fluidly through the chaos, using every advantage they had created. One by one, the alien squads were funneled into controlled zones, unable to overpower the coordinated human defenses. The Xipharian leader, finally recognizing the scale of human ingenuity, paused. She looked across the battlefield at the humans moving seamlessly as a single entity, turning every potential danger into an advantage. Her eyes, glowing faintly blue, reflected surprise and respect. "Incredible," she said. "You have not only survived, you have outthought us." "This is impressive." Mara, panting from exertion, met the leader's gaze. "We fight with what we have," she said. "Strength, courage, and thought, that is humanity. We may not be the strongest, but we can survive and we can adapt. That is how we win." The leader nodded slowly. She raised her hand, signaling her warriors to withdraw. "You have earned respect," she said. "Not through raw strength alone, but through ingenuity, unity, and spirit. Today, humanity has proven it is not to be underestimated." The humans cheered quietly, but the victory was not about celebration. It was about acknowledgement that they could stand against one of the most formidable warrior races in the galaxy. Every engineer, soldier, and strategist knew that this was more than a battle won. It was proof of human potential, human resilience, and human ingenuity. Back on the orbital station, Admiral Chen addressed the team. "Today, you have done something remarkable. You have shown that strength alone does not define power. Ingenuity, unity, and courage are just as important. The Xipharians will carry this lesson across the stars. Humanity has made its mark." Mara looked out at the distant alien fleet, now slowly moving away. There was no hostility in their departure, only respect. The humans had surprised them, adapted faster than they could anticipate, and fought not like a species expecting defeat, but like a species determined to prove its worth. That night Mara walked across the platform, exhausted but exhilarated. She reflected on the past 3 encounters: the fear, the planning, the improvisation, and the courage. Humans had survived where they were expected to fail. They had adapted in ways the Xipharians could not predict, and they had shown that even against overwhelming strength, humanity could thrive through unity, intelligence, and spirit. In the quiet moments, Mara realized that the true victory was not simply defeating the Xipharians, but discovering the power within themselves. Humans had not only survived, they had surprised, adapted, and conquered challenges far beyond their expected limits. As she looked out at the stars, Mara whispered to herself, "We are human, we survive, we adapt, and we will continue to surprise." The Xipharians had come seeking a challenge, expecting an easy victory. They left with respect, a new understanding, and perhaps a hint of wariness for the species that had shown them the unexpected power of the human mind and spirit. Humanity had proven itself worthy not through muscle or weaponry alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and the unbreakable bonds that held them together. And in the vastness of space, where strength often defined survival, humans had reminded everyone that true power could come in forms no alien could predict.